So we're going to be doing some things that will, I think, shake things up. Some of you have been with me a while. A lot of this stuff's going to be really different, but not that different, but more focused on really giving you an opportunity to really change and grow. Meaning that I've been practicing NLP for a long time, neuro linguistic programming, and when you look at a lot of the leadership books and all this stuff related to um, human development and improvement. Wow, my lens is, that's interesting. I never noticed that my lens on my camera is a little bit funky. Huh. Okay. Anyway, so I've been doing it and like to get my mind right, right, and to really maximize what I've been able to do for myself, and and I frankly I've really I've used it on you guys in little subtle ways, but I've not really taught stuff that will help you make a major shift in what you can do for yourselves, like totally empowering you. And I've done some recent work. I paid a lot of money for some coaching and some mentorship things that are pretty powerful. And so what I'm going to do is really focus on how can I get you guys to make a lot of shifts in what you're currently doing, to how you think about yourselves, what you're doing to make money, kind of the future you that you want to become. I'm going to really start breaking things down to get you there quicker and really take on a responsibility that I'm not really taking on. I think part of it was, not maybe being a little bit of afraid that, that if I tried to put my tweaks in your brain with my screwdrivers, that you wouldn't become successful, and what kind of responsibility would I take on you not becoming successful if I try to give you a lot of these tools and a lot of these techniques and things that people pay. I mean, literally, kind of this world. So I just want to kind of give you an idea that there's a whole world out there of people that are super high performance people that make millions, and they spend 50 grand, 100 grand on their personal development, and you're thinking, well, they have the money to be able to do it. Now, no, here's the point. The point is, because they're where they got there, because they're willing to make that investment in themselves. They didn't have 100 grand to do it, but maybe they had $10,000 to do it when they didn't have $10,000 to do it. You know what I'm saying? And they're willing to break out of that self-limiting belief in what they could accomplish in their lives by going ahead and getting around people that can teach them tools and techniques to do it. And so I've strived at getting around these different mentors. Like Andy Albright's a mentor, and he has this particular context that he mentors me in, but he can't do it all, right? Wise person has many counselors, right? You've heard that. That's biblical. So he satisfies this. I have another mentor, Dan Martell, that has mentored me in building a business and how to become super efficient in business building and how to leverage that through hiring other people that can do stuff that I don't need to do, don't want to do, don't have to do. Okay. That's another mentor. I've got another mentor more recently that's teaching me more about techniques of influence, kind of the subtleties of influence that you can have on an audience of people, on a single person, a lot of the stuff that we do in sales, right? So you're going to see a lot more of that stuff in sales that I'm going to bring out. And I rolled it out already, um, like the guys that are mentoring me. That's the NLP sales training, right? And I'm very excited about it. I'm a little disappointed because um, I'm surprised how few people have gone through it already. I mean, you would think that if I'm excited about something that'll make a significant difference in how you can make money, that I would have a whole bunch of people going through it. And there's a way that I know that you've gone through it. Okay. That there's a way. Okay. There's a few people, I'll call Pablo out. So I can tell he's going through it, but, and it's not for new people. So if you're brand new with us, I really don't want you to go through that NLP training yet. It's something for later. But all y'all that do um, retirement planning, the teacher lead program, you, I should say it nicer. I'll say it nicer. Um, I'm kind of surprised because you've spent the money on 40 appointments. You've spent 1550 on 40 appointments. And I was telling Mary this earlier today that you're closing maybe 20% and you're doing good. You're getting a 10x return on your investment, 10, 15x. Okay. So I'm not bitching about that. Okay. I guess I'm surprised because I believe the stuff you're going to learn here will double your closing rate. Absolutely double your closing rate. You can go from 20 to 40% because of the ninja stuff. You're going to learn ninja sales techniques that, that coaching video I did with Al was just a little glimpse of that entire NLP sales training website. That was just an overview. That was more of the 30,000-foot overview of what that sales system can do. And I believe just with what I taught Al, his closing rate's going to go up. He's going to be able to influence people. Now, with the skill development, it's going to go higher. But if you're already getting a 10 to 15x ROI, let me ask you a basic question, okay? Is a 20x to 30x ROI better than a 10 to 15x ROI? Like raise your hand in your own mind. Like do the math. Is 20 to 30x better than 10 to 15? And wouldn't you rather make you invest 1550 on the teacher lead program, right? What's 10x of 1550? 15,000. Imagine if you made 30,000 on a $1,500 investment. Would that change your life? Would that make a significant difference? Would that change your world? Imagine in the future that you're getting a 30x ROI or just, let's get crazy, 20x ROI on a 1550 investment. How would that change your life? I want you to think about a year from now. Did you make a 1550 return and you make 30,000? So 30,000 minus 1550 is what? 28,000. Okay, just let's pretend. What I want you guys to imagine a year from now that you're making 28,000 a month on a 1550 investment. How would that change your world? Think about the things that you're most concerned about, right? Let me kind of share with you. There are 6 basic human needs. Okay. So here's how I want you to think about it when you answer that question 12 months from now, when you're getting a 20 to 30x ROI. Okay. You're making, 28,000 net from that lead investment minimally. Okay. So there are 6 basic human needs. The first one is certainty and comfort. Okay. We all need a certain level of safety and security to know and have the assurance that things are going to be okay. And when you think about it, how many of you have stuck with a job for like a long time? You know, this is how people can stay with a job for years and years and years, even though they don't love it, but they stay there because they feel safe in it. Like there's a certainty, but they live a life of quiet desperation but they're afraid to go and step out to realize something better in their lives because they crave that security and comfort. You know, it's why, I mean, come on, it's why we watch the same shows. It's why we eat at the same restaurants. You ever go to your favorite restaurant and they've got 50 things on the menu, but you always order that one thing? I do, right? I have my go-to. When I go to this restaurant, I don't give a crap what else, you know. There's a certainty and comfort level in doing that. We follow routines because it gives us a certain comfort and stability. Okay. So you're making 28 grand a year. How does that satisfy that particular need? It's a drive that you have, right? Certainty and comfort. You know that when you invest 1550, minimally be 28 grand, but it could be as, you know, much as 35 grand. How would that feed your drive for that? Here's another one. I want you to answer this stuff in your own mind. The other, the second need that humans have is the need for variety. There's a certain level of us that need a little bit of uncertainty in our lives, right? The people that are the people that crave certainty are the people that don't like surprises, right? They're people that like variety are the people that love surprises, the people that love making last minute decisions. Like when I told Jenny, hey, you know, let's go to Hawaii and see U2's last concert on their Vertigo tour. I popped that on her the week before we left. It was so awesome. I forgot. I didn't even care how much it cost. It cost a lot of money, but I didn't care. It's like, I want to go see U2, their last, you know, University of Hawaii stadium. Now, someone who craves certainty, they freak out, even though it's a great vacation, it's a great time away. But the people that love variety, they're down, man. Let's go, right? Now, there's a certain aspect of that where sometimes routine can be boring. So maybe some of you crave that variety, that uncertainty too. That's it. That's a need. For some of you, that's a greater need than it is for others, right? I think sometimes the people that are willing to take risks are willing to, they love the variety. They love the uncertainty because they strive or they thrive on uncertainty because they don't want the certainty of knowing exactly how much money they're going to make. Meaning they see that if they know exactly how much they're going to make, it's a ceiling. Now, some of you that crave comfort and security, you think of it as a floor. But when you talk to someone like me, this is why I got in this thing, why I got out of the job world, is I hated the certainty of knowing that I couldn't make more than just what I was making. Now, you know, everyone's got different drives. I'll tell you, that was me, right? So this is, you know, this variety and this uncertainty, you know, this is where people try new restaurants or, you know, here's kind of crazy thing. They scroll social media because you want variety in what you're looking at, what you're exposing yourself to. They say variety is the spice of life. You know, we need adventure, right? So that's another need. Some of you, it's a great need. Some of you, it isn't. I'm not saying it's bad or good. What I'm asking you, you got 28 grand a month coming in and you're this person, dude, dudette, you're jacked up because you can make a snap decision like, honey, guess what? We're going to see U2 in Hawaii. Really? You've seen Jenny's face, man. She was freaking out. Now, she likes a little bit more certainty than I do, for sure. This is where we balance each other out. I'm always going off the deep end of uncertainty. She's always kind of keeping me grounded and anchored. But she was jacked up, I promise you. You'll have to ask her about that sometime because that was a crazy trip. I mean, crazy trip. Okay, so you're making 28 grand, you're getting a 20x to 30x ROI. Think of how that need that you have can be satisfied with stepping out and learning how to do that. What's crazy is I've given you an opportunity to increase your skill level. Can you imagine you increase your skill level and your process enabling you to get that kind of ROI? That is a process you'll take with you the rest of your life. You change it now, you change it next week, you change it forever. It is something that you can install, literally installing in your head. This is all NLP is. It's installing how you think and how you feel and how you approach what you're doing in a way that can be duplicatable, consistent, and the results will be consistent. And I'm surprised how few of you have jumped in. Now I know, I mean, come on. I think sometimes it's related to self-image. Like the people that have a self-image of a 3 or 4 are reluctant because what they're afraid that the stuff they're learning that they may not be able to get it or understand it, or the time that they're putting in other things in their lives. You can come with all kinds of excuses like watching and binging on Netflix or whatever you're doing, that you're doing that instead because you feel more comfortable doing that instead of stepping out and learning something new that you can install in your process that can give you that 20x, 30x of your ROI, right? Again, I'm not beating you up. I'm just stating a fact, right? Number 3, the third one of human drive is significance. People have a drive to feel significant, that you need to feel important, unique, that you matter to the world, you matter to the agency, you matter to your family and friends, right? This is a really big drive for a lot of people, man. All of us included, myself included, right? People want recognition. They want recognition at work. They want recognition in the things they do. This is that thing on social media. This is the dopamine effect. This is why social media can be very addictive and bad, is because when you make a post, you got all these people reacting. That's that dopamine rush that you get because it feeds that sense of significance. The only problem with that is you find that you spend, 4 hours a day on social media when that 4 hours, like let's say 3 hours of those four, could have been doing things to improve yourself, like going through the NLP sales training website. Okay, like just 3 of those 4 hours. And how do I know? Your phone will tell you how much time you spend on your phone. And I promise you, majority of that is checking Facebook, myself included. Okay, so I'm convicting myself. But it feeds that sense of significance, being seen and being valued. When people say, dude, that was an awesome post, or I love this post, and they share it. Those little dopamine rushes that feed that significance. Now, you become recognized for being an awesome producer, for being someone who's a model to other agents that inspire them to do what you did. That's significance. To be someone who people look up to as the model of what they strive to be. That's powerful significance right there, right? The significance of building an agency that you've helped multiple people make 6 figures, 7 figures of income. That's a powerful significance. So how are you feeding this particular need now with what you're currently doing? Is it social media, or are you striving in your financial journey to be more than who you are so that other people can be inspired by what you're doing? To me, that's real significance. But that's like the third major human need that we have that drives us to do something more than what we're doing. And it could be doing something more that lessens us in the eyes of the world and our impact in the world, or empowers us to do way more than what we're doing to impact the world, right? Now, these aren't in any particular order, but the fourth one is the one that's probably the obvious one, right? Love and connection. This is the fourth drive that you have, right? It's sometimes it overlaps with significance, but we all crave relationships. I mean, look, you either crave relationships, you crave being around other people, or creating significant relationships to to feel loved and to give love, or you're a hermit in a cave. Okay, right? We all want to belong. We all want this closeness of people seeing us for who we are and being valued and feeling significant against it. They kind of cross over and people seeing you and being understood. You're being understood by people that you care about, people that you respect, right? We're this can actually go way beyond where you're looking for love and connection from people that you think value you when in fact they don't. Just that kind of superficial type of thing. This is what drives us to get into friendships and have family reunions and get with family and these are things that drives us to seeking a spouse or significant other, romantic relationships and communities. This is the other thing too that even when you're smiling at someone, just acknowledging them, say hi, nice to meet you. There's this aspect of connection, right, that you need. Okay. Now, 1 through 4, right, love and connection, significance, uncertainty and variety, and the certainty and comfort all speak to the ego, all speak to me, us, what I want, what I need, right? So the last two, the 5th and 6th one, are related to beyond you. So the first 4 are more ego. And I don't mean ego in a negative way. It can be negative, but it's more ego driven, me driven. These next 2 are more outside of you, something that goes beyond you, something bigger than you, right? And that's another sense of significance. But the 5th need is the need for growth. You probably heard this. If you're not growing, you're dying, right? We all have this need, some, again, more than others, that you're making progress with the gifts that you've been given, the talents you've been granted, the abilities that God has endowed you with for your particular mission on earth that you could either use or lose, right? That's biblical too. Okay. This is not a Wednesday call, so I'm not going to go into the spiritual aspect of that. But you're either growing or dying. And again, what are you investing growth in? Right? This is why people have this need, this drive to set goals, to achieve. They go to the gym and they do the stuff that hurts so they can feel better about their bodies and themselves. This is what drives people to learn new skills and sometimes, or dig into books. This is the thing that where you're driven by your growth so that you can give more to the world, give more to other people, enhance the growth of others. You can't give what you don't got, right? And so this need, and this is what fuels me all the time, like the stuff that I've been doing, the last several months has really been because I felt like there's so much more that I could do and give at this stage in my life, right? I keep thinking, I'm Medicare eligible in October. And to me, here's why that's significant is that I've got less time. But here's the thing that I've realized. I got so much more in me that I can give. I just need to tweak a few things so I can just let this stuff pour out of me so I can make your lives better, right? And this is, at the end of my life, I want to just give it all. I want to leave everything on the table. I want to be able to say, I gave every ounce of energy to becoming better and growing so I can make other people, help other people become better and help them grow too. Like on my deathbed, that could be tomorrow. It could be 20 years from now, whatever the good Lord allows me to do, that I could say I left it all on the field because I invested in myself and I maximized and empowered myself to be able to give to other people, right? And you can tell, right? You can tell the way I'm talking. You probably haven't heard me talk like this in a while. See, the power of growth, it makes you feel alive. It makes you feel significant, but it makes you feel alive. And really what it shows me, it just increases my self-image because I look in the mirror, I see someone growing. I see someone not dying and diminishing. I see someone who's going to be more tomorrow than he was today. And I hate talking about myself in the third person. Okay, so I can be more tomorrow than I am today because of the stuff I'm doing, the stuff I'm giving. I look myself in the mirror, it's like, God, man, thank you. Thank you for letting me realize what I could be for your kingdom. So this is one of those, thing growth. How are you feeding yourself with this? How are you growing? And what are you growing? What are you growing in you that will help you become, that will help the world be better? Right. And then number 6, this is huge because I really kind of touched on it on number 5. Number 6 is contribution. This need to give back, this need to do something beyond me that goes way beyond me, right? It's contribution. I kind of alluded to it in the previous one. But the contribution, that's really the purpose of growth, is to contribute, is to give. Give yourself away, give your talents, energies to make the world better, to build the kingdom. Contribution gives your life purpose. It's knowing that the stuff that you've done in your life to become better has helped other people. Rising tide raises all ships. The tide begins with you. You raise your tide and the other ships grow. That's the way I kind of view the world. And these are the things that drive you to volunteer for Habitat for Humanity, or when you see someone in need and you pull out your checkbook. I know that's a super old reference. Sorry for all you young people. I'm not going to explain what a checkbook is. Look it up on Google and they'll show you what a checkbook is. But that allows you to take out your Venmo and Venmo a charity, right? That's probably more appropriate. This is what drives you to mentor other people, right? For those of you wanting to be agency managers and wanting, yeah, you're going to make override income. You're going to make income beyond your own capacity to work. That's awesome. But think about what you're able to do is you're tapping into people, their desires, so you can help them become more who they ought to be, who they should be, who God wanted them to be. You take the lid off what they thought they could be to what they ultimately will be and can be because you're in their life, right? Again, it gives you purpose. It gives you this satisfaction that when you leave this world, that someone will say, man, thank God that Alex came in my life because my life has been so different because of him. Not because I want any kind of accolades, not that I want that credit, but I want people to know that what I learned, I gave it away so that person can become better. I don't take the credit. It's what God has given me. So, give God the credit, man. It's not me. But it empowered me to learn these things, to do these things. And I want to give this to you, right? So this whole idea of how much more you can be, all these things, these 6 things, what I think you ought to do is evaluate that for yourself. And what are you doing to satisfy those needs that you have? Only you can answer that question. These 6 things are different for you than it is for me. Maybe it's the same. I don't know. But unless you understand where you are in relation to these drives that you have, then you could tap into how can I change in each of these areas to become better, to pursue a better version of myself, right? And so a really great litmus test in my agency was how many people attacked that thing. And so it told me what I needed to know. But Alex, what you need to know? I need to know how much more I need to empower you. Okay. So while I'm talking about you, I'm talking about me. I'm talking about what could I have done to maybe motivate you better to want to, um, for you to want to be better, for you and beyond money. Like, a year from now, when you're getting a 20, 30x on your return on investment, I'm happy for you and you're happy for you. But what did I do to make your life better? What did you do to make your life better so that you're giving more? Because here's what I think. I mean, this might be such an old-fashioned concept, but I think your compensation, my compensation, is based on the value that you give to other people. Your compensation as a salesperson is based on the value that you gave to your clients, right? Your compensation as a manager of other agents, as a leader of other agents, is a reflection of your service and value that you gave to your agents, right? And so I think it's just a measuring stick. Now, yeah, it pays the bills. It buys you a nicer home. It gives the opportunity to do some fantastic things with your family. It allows you to spend time with your family instead of time at work. There's so many things that it will give you, right? But it's more, right? It's more. And I think when you like tap into that part that you're willing to go for it, that's more, then man, I think it just blows everything out of the water. It will, it will motivate you to take every opportunity to grow, to get into the things that will make you a better producer, a better person, a better contributor, all these things that will enhance your life. All these things. Like when I talk about the event, National Boot Camp coming up, when you think about the investment of, spending, I don't even remember what is it, 249, or it's 129 for a brand new agent and 249 for an agent that's been to events before. And when I think about that investment compared to the investment I've made in this past like 6 months, you have no idea. Like it's probably what some of you make in a year, but that doesn't matter. What matters is 249 or 120, 129. And I think about what I've just said, and then, but Alex, I got to fly there, don't I? You can fly, you could drive, you could take a bus. We've had people take buses across country to get to events, a train, find some cheap ways to do it, whatever. Or put it on a dadgum credit card. I mean, think about the things you put on credit cards in your past, right? Think about all the crazy stuff you've gotten in debt for. But then when it comes to $129 and it comes to putting a plane ticket and sharing a hotel with someone, you're counting the cost, counting the cost, counting the cost. I've never thought about events like that. I never thought about the cost. I thought about the gain. I always thought of it. My mind shift was, what can I get from this? How will I be able to grow? What areas do I need to grow in order to move beyond where I am today? And sometimes it's hard to answer that question because you don't know. You don't know until you get there, right? So I go to every event, even now, with the anticipation that I'm going to learn something that's going to move me forward in a huge way. And I always get what I'm looking for, right? You always get what you're looking for. You always get the thing that you seek that is inside you that strives to be better. And for 129, I'm going, my gosh. When I run into hesitation, it just cracks me up. It's like, dude, seriously? Like in my mind, I'm going, oh man, how can I convey the person that can be a year from now by coming to the event? Because the person that can be a year from now is if they go to the events, can be different than the person a year from now if they didn't go to the event. Let's be honest. I mean, I'm just telling you straight up. That person 12 months from now is a different person if you go. That person 12 months from now is going to be empowered to have done so many great things because you went. And if you don't go, I don't know how you're going to be that person 12 months from now. Do you understand the cost of not going? This is the thing that kind of blows me away. If people don't ever consider the cost of inaction, the cost of not doing something to them. They have this vision of where they want to be 12 months from now, of how they want their lives to be different, what they want to accomplish for their families, spending time with their families. You all have that vision of, man, if I can make this kind of money, if I can build an agency, if I can get to the point where I'm making this kind of money, this is the life I want. This is the life I strive for. But then you don't consider the cost of not going to an event. The cost is not being that person. That cost is that person is delayed by another year. Right? Let me pose it to you this way. Where were you 12 months ago? This is a hard one because this will cause you to start. I don't want you to start feeling bad, but here's what I want you to consider. Where were you 12 months ago? Where were you income-wise 12 months ago? Where were you mentally 12 months ago? Emotionally 12 months ago? Are you in the same place? Are you the same place mentally? Are you in the same place income-wise? Are you in the same place relationship-wise 12 months ago? Because here's what I would propose to you is that if nothing really has changed significantly in your life after 12 months, then what you're doing, because if you're not, okay, so let me caveat it with this. If you're not happy with where you are now, and you weren't happy 12 months ago, then something did not change, right? And so when you think about what happened 12 months ago to today, the scary notion is that you don't do anything different. And 12 months from now, you're going to be the same place. Okay. Now, awesome, you joined us. Awesome, you're on this call listening to me. Awesome, okay. It's okay. It's awesome that you're listening to me. But what's going to be different tomorrow because you're listening to me talk? What's going to be different tomorrow because, you got contracted, you went through our one-page training webpage. It's one page now. It's probably an hour to get you on the phones, right? What will you do different than you did the last 12 months? Because the only way you're going to change 12 months from now is if you implement something different. And if you don't, again, the cost of inaction is that you're going to waste another year being where you're at. How can you look yourself in the mirror 12 months from now and think, oh, I've wasted another year in my life and I'm still in the same place where I'm always worried about money. I'm always worried about what paying my bills. I'm not happy with doing what I'm doing in my job. It's just killing me. See, that's where you could be 12 months from now. Or you make the changes in your life that we're recommending and you follow the things I'm recommending and you take advantage of the ways that I'm going to teach you to tweak the brain up here using all these really cool techniques. And that person 12 months from now is a happy person because you made a significant change. And you look at yourself in the mirror, it's like, I made something of myself. I changed. I made a significant change and I'm in a different place now. And I'm excited where I'm going to be 12 more months from now because I'm going to have a different address. I'm going to have a life worth living. I'm going to have a life of purpose filled with joy. And even though I suffer setbacks and disappointments, I know now how to handle it. I know not to get depressed. I know that I could overcome those things. I've been empowered with the tools I've learned to turn everything that may seem like a setback into an opportunity to learn and to grow. That's the power. I'm talking about the power that you have if you decide right now to make a change. So, anyway, I was hoping to do this after our leaderboard.